In OSHA's booklet on the topic, page 6, it states employees must establish an energy control program. Summarized, it states 1. List specific procedures, 2. Inspection is required periodically, and 3. Train employees. Two words need defining, shall and must. Shall, being a verb, expresses a strong assertion or intention for electricians. It's a matter of life and death for themselves, for me, and you too. This book utilizes the word shall. Never will you read must. Is our profession limited? Must is both a verb and a noun that is expressing a necessity, an opinion about something that is logically very likely. OSHA's law and regulations certainly plays safe with the word must. Apart from the OSHA Act of 1970, it is seldom if ever used. Instead, the word must is. These are all sources of hazardous energy. In the lockout-tagout process, as you indubitably know, colors help the identification process, yet exposure to just one, let alone more than one, proves problematic. It is therefore your ability to distinguish between needs and wants. The multiple hydraulic lines on the left have been tagged and locked out. The right can be seen locked out. But here the energy source is controllable. Address the stored or potentially reaccumulated energy per OSHA, and it seems rather obvious safety has been exercised. I elect to talk about the dubious matters concerning electrical. On the left, the electrical panel is reasonably protected from outside contact. Remove that cover though, things change. On the right is a separate yet exposed panel. Even a skilled and competent electrician unknowingly becomes complacent, and this can lead to death. Perhaps the sources cannot be de-energized, and means have been addressed to notify surrounding personnel. Certainly the company is adhering to OSHA, right? By the way, OSHA has littered their laws and regulations with opinions. That is, the word must is ubiquitous in the literature, but it's your opinion that rings true. Electrical safety equipment exists. It is a need. Is it a need or is it a want? Are employees, per OSHA Act, told they shall furnish to each employee employment and a place of employment that are causing or likely to cause death or serious harm? Are shortcuts exercised? OSHA only once makes a strong assertion that the employer and employee is responsible in the general duty clause. As an experienced safety practitioner and subcontractor, merging such a gap of the work imagined and of how work is done can only be done through subjective and convincing opinions you suggest. Case in point, why are these men not wearing protective clothing? Clothing that would protect against arc flashes and that is rated with materials that withstand so many calories of heat. As it stands, scientists guard themselves via controlled environments and PPE, and so should the people authorized with lockout-tagout as they pertain to their respective sources. Imagine this panel remains hot, but the focus is only to repair the small conductors viewed in the center of the photo. The authorized personnel should have clothing and dropped transparent films that guard the individual from accidental contact, lessening the chance of inadvertently sending him to his maker, and that company isn't furnishing them. These men do not have the luxuries of getting the time and or finances to learn, and from that handicap and the safety profession has emerged. Your aim, your priority is to fix it. Welcome to Ethics 101. Speak up. Here's a scenario of OSHA. He's changing a snap belt. He stands over an interconnected conveyor belt, not locked out, tagged out, but the motor is. If he's authorized, then he's expected to be competent. But again, there's the word must. This is where you step in. The company has placed this man in grave danger, contrary to the OSHA Act of 1970. Same scenario, this time nearby machine or equipment, a robotic arm. Employees required to provide protection from these energy hazards. Only employer and employee seem to lack insight. Don't get complacent. Learn, ask, influence. Lockout tagout is paramount to saving lives, but if you alone know and under the vices of job security choose to not volunteer information, one day it could happen to you, or perhaps near you, when another person falls short of helping you. Influence is powerful, directly and indirectly. It's infectious. Make it count. Understanding the variabilities commonplace is key. Good management is present in workers even when management is not present, because they understand not through foreign law and regulations they haven't had the time to learn, but through your proactive tendencies. This is where theory merges with practicality and ensures that things go right. The future of safety management relies on focusing on what goes right rather than what goes wrong. Instead of avoiding that something goes wrong, ensure that everything goes right. With less than 10 minutes, 7 minutes rather, you fall short of learning the scope, application, and purpose of definitions, general information, the application of control for lockout tagout, the release from lockout tagout, additional requirements. There's even typical minimum procedures, but you have to set the time aside to read. There will be times only a lockout tagout may be used. These times a lockout times only a tagout may be used, and still times both are used. Once you've understood, interact with consultants and subcontractors. Lockout tagout is an effective source of control, but not all, however, can be. When you need to constrain a safety hazard, do so through proactiveness. Thank you.